I feel as though I'm one of the only voices speaking out. And if we do not confront the lessons of election night, it's going to happen over and over again. We're going to keep losing. If we don't recognize a rightward shift of America, we are also going to lose. We have to have a careful financial accounting of what exactly happened. How did we possibly blow through $1 billion in just 3 months? It's just astounding, not just to me, but to many of my fellow donors. I've been speaking with them on an hourly basis. People are just completely shocked and just craving answers. A lot of them are sending me messages of support, asking me to stay the course and to keep asking. And we just haven't really gotten any explanation from the campaign as to what happened. And I say this, it pains me to say this is very hard for me to say because these are my friends. These are these are people that I've worked with for a long time. But if we don't have any accountability, how could we possibly move forward in an effective way, not only to serve this party, but serve our country?
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Just when you thought that Kamala Harris could not be humiliated even more than she already has been humiliated after she lost in a landslide to Trump, we have more stories coming out about how she spent her campaign funds. Okay, a lot of people are asking questions about how in the hell did her campaign end up $20 million in debt despite raising $1 billion, over $1 billion, and they ended up $20 million in debt, and they have nothing to show for it outside of losing in a landslide to former President Trump. Yeah, a whole lot of people are upset. They're mad. They're asking questions because the Kamala campaign is begging for more money, right? She is basically coming out and saying, well, we're broke and we need more money, right? Please send us some more money so that we can pay our bills, okay? Vendors aren't getting paid. Allegedly, staff, they're not getting paid. We need more money from the very gullible individuals that sent her money in the first place. Take a look.
At the same time, got to pay attention to the campaign that flopped big, and that was Kamala Harris. And it appears the biggest flop not only was just the vote total, but it actually was a lot of the money decisions that were made inside the campaign. So we have curated now a list. It appears that the Kamala Harris campaign, despite raising over $1 billion, still ended up some $20 million or so in debt and is now currently fundraising, still asking people for money after she lost. Let's put this up there on the screen. So this is an example of one of the emails that she's been sending out now. She says, first and foremost, we want to acknowledge the fear, the confusion, the sadness many of you are feeling at this moment. For others, you may be looking for something meaningful and important to channel your emotions. If that's you, then we're asking you to make a donation to the Democratic Party today. Here's why this is important. As you read this, there are U.S. Senate and House races that are too close to call or within the margin of recounts. They all need your help to get across the finish line. So can you please rush a contribution to the Harris Fight Fund program today? Does anyone want to name like a high-profile race other than Pennsylvania that's not in recount territory? That's right. So this is a grift. Let's all be honest. Let's put this up there on the screen from Newsweek. It appears that there is a significant amount of debt within the Harris-Walz campaign, enough so, possibly up to the sum of some $20 million. And people are starting to ask major questions about how some of that got spent.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Okay, so yesterday we talked about the bombshell report that came out about Kamala Harris paying Oprah's company $1 million for her endorsement interview that she did with Oprah, in which it was very scripted and Oprah essentially was just slobbing, glazing Kamala Harris. And a lot of people criticized Kamala and Oprah because people were thinking that, hey, you know, why is it that these celebrities, all of these celebrities are coming out and supporting Kamala Harris? Well, it turns out a lot of these celebrities were being paid. Now, you would think that if these celebrities were endorsing Kamala because they feel like their rights are under attack and that democracy's on the line, they would need to be paid in order to do so. But apparently, they needed to be paid, right? Those endorsements came with a price, okay? And we have to talk about another bombshell report about Kamala Harris allegedly paying for an endorsement and a softball interview to go along with it, because apparently her campaign gave $500,000 to Al Sharpton's nonprofits weeks before glowing interview with the MSNBC host. Now, again, this one is really, really, really bad, okay? Because Oprah, while a celebrity, everybody knows she's left leaning. She's not like an actual like civil rights Democrat Party activist propagandist like Al Sharpton, at least not overtly. Okay. Al Sharpton is overtly a Democrat Party activist. And for her to be paying him for an endorsement is really, really, really sad.
Happy 70th birthday, Rev. Happy birthday. I celebrate the day you were born. You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do. And I thank you so much for your friendship. Happy birthday.
I have to ask you about your opponent. He used a very ugly term about you last night, using the S word as vice president. And how do you react to this kind of street talk from someone who wants to be president again, that was president? I've known you a long time, and I know you have thick skin, but I'm not asking you as a person, because I know you're used to that. But what does it do, in your opinion, to the standards we're setting for our young people all over the country when we're using this kind of locker room street talk about an opponent for president of the United States?
So the American people deserve so much better. That's how I come at it. And to your point, the president of the United States must set a standard, not only for our nation, but understanding the standard that we as a nation must set for the world. You know, we as representing the United States of America walk into rooms around the world with the earned and self-appointed authority to talk about the importance of democracy, rule of law, and have been thought of as a role model, imperfect though we may be, but a role model of what it means to be committed to certain standards, including international rules and norms, but also standards of decorum. And what you see in my opponent, a former president of the United States, really is, it demeans the office. And I have said, and I'm very clear about this, Donald Trump should never again stand behind the seal of the President of the United States. He has not earned the right. He has not earned the right. And that's why he's going to lose.
Yeah, so clearly that take from Kamala Harris did not age well. And Al Sharpton did not disclose that he was paid $500,000, or his nonprofit was paid $500,000, which means that he basically got paid. And I'm going to show you guys how this works, right, in regards to Al Sharpton actually benefiting from this. But before we get into that, he didn't disclose that payment. MSNBC didn't disclose that payment, which shows you how much of a propaganda outlet MSNBC is, right? They claim to be a news network, and yet they're having interviews with the Democrat presidential nominee in which the interviewer was paid off beforehand to do the interview. Something that you would think should be disclosed to the audience, that, hey, this is paid propaganda, that we paid Al Sharpton to sit here and just allow Kamala Harris to say whatever and to not push back. No. So I want to go ahead and read more about this donation to Al Sharpton's nonprofit and then go from there. Vice President Kamala Harris' presidential campaign delivered $500,000 in donations to Al Sharpton's nonprofit organization just prior to a glowing interview with the candidate on MSNBC. Harris's campaign gave two payments of $250,000 to the National Action Network on September 5th and October 1st, according to campaign finance records first reported by the Washington Free Beacon and confirmed by DailyMail.com. Sharpton publicly backed Harris after Biden endorsed her to succeed him in his re-election campaign. After Sharpton's organization received donations from Harris, he got a coveted sit-down interview with her just 2 weeks before the election. Now, again, remember, Kamala Harris has been selective in regards to who she wanted to sit down with. A lot of these networks wanted to sit down with Kamala Harris. They wanted to interview her, but she was saying no. And apparently, she was so afraid of doing interviews that when it was time for her to finally do a real interview, or to start doing real interviews because she had to, she decided that, hey, you know what? I'll just pay you to do a softball interview, right? I'll pay you not to ask me any real questions, which, again, you know, now that opens up the door to question all of these softball interviews that Kamala Harris had done right before the election, because the only real tough interview that she did was with Fox News. She may have done one more tough interview, but outside of that, all of these other outlets, her interviews were, again, straight softball. Even though there was a lot of criticism that should have been levied against Kamala Harris, there was a lot of questions that should have been asked, but those questions weren't asked, again, because some of these interviews were paid. Again, like the Oprah interview, now the Al Sharpton interview. Yeah, it is becoming very, very, very clear that Kamala's whole campaign was a Ponzi scheme to get her rich friends and celebrities paid off the back of the liberals that unwisely sent money to her campaign, right? I mean, that's essentially what is happening here, okay? A whole bunch of people got paid from these donations that were sent to Kamala Harris by people who believed that she could beat Trump when the campaign knew that they did not have a good chance of beating Trump. They knew that they were losing, but they, along with the liberal media and the pollsters, systemically tried to make it seem like Kamala Harris was doing better than she was against Trump, even though, again, all of them really knew that she wasn't doing that well and that she was going to lose the election. This is probably one of the biggest scams in the history of American politics. Let's keep it 100. Kamala's campaign was a huge scam. Huge scam. Harris appeared on Sharpton's MSNBC Politics Nation show on October 20th, exclusively aired on the cable network. Donald Trump should never again stand behind the seal of President of the United States. He has not earned the right, and that's why he's going to lose, Harris said. Yeah, so Al Sharpton nor MSNBC disclosed the donations to Sharpton's organization. I think that it should have been disclosed, but apparently not, right? MSNBC, once again, proving they're a propaganda outlet. And this is how Al Sharpton got paid. Okay, this is how he got paid. Sharpton reportedly earns a 7-figure salary from MSNBC and is paid handsomely by National Action Network, which he founded in 1991. The nonprofit paid Sharpton around $650,000 in 2021 out of $7 million in revenues and spent another $940,000 that year for, quote, transportation services to the private jet firm Apollo Jets and the limousine company Carry International. Okay, so I want you guys to understand. Kamala Harris donated $500,000 to Al Sharpton's nonprofit that, at least according to the 2021 numbers, pays him more than $500,000 a year, right? So that donation in of itself basically covered Sharpton's salary from that nonprofit. And on top of that, again, that money is used to chauffeur around Al Sharpton in private jets and limousines. Again, this is money that comes from the people, right? From the people to help Kamala Harris's campaign. And she's out here using that money in order to get her celebrity friends rich, right? That's what she's doing. And she blew $1 billion. And they all knew that she didn't have a good chance of winning. They all knew that she was losing to Trump. This is incredible. It really is. This is a huge story. First, the Oprah discovery, and now Al Sharpton. And again, this is sad because Al Sharpton is a Democrat propagandist. Guys, how bad must Kamala Harris be to feel the need to pay Al Sharpton's nonprofit $500,000 or to pay Oprah $1 million? Right? That's the crazy part about this. Like, think about this. Al Sharpton already is a Democrat Party propagandist. He's already anti-Trump. So it's like, why do you need to pay him for an endorsement? That's what makes it even worse. Why do you need to pay him for an interview? Because he should be willing to do it regardless. You're the vice president right now, and you're the presidential nominee for the Democrat Party. Why are you paying Al Sharpton for an interview? Because her whole campaign was a Ponzi scheme. It was a Ponzi scheme. It was a scam in order to launder money to rich liberal elites. That's what it was. If anything, you should be thinking that people like Oprah and Al Sharpton, who are rich, these are rich individuals, they should be donating to Kamala's campaign, not the other way around. Kamala was donating to them. Either Kamala was so bad that she had to pay for these endorsements, okay? Or her whole campaign was a scam from the beginning. It was a huge scam to raise money from foolish liberals who believed that Kamala Harris could beat Trump, Trump-deranged liberals who had hope that, oh, well, Kamala can take down Trump after Biden dropped out of the race. But the campaign and all the elites knew that she actually couldn't win, right? Which, again, would explain why she would spend money so recklessly, because it wasn't really about trying to win in the first place. They were trying to create the appearance of a competent campaign that had a lot of momentum, that had a lot of energy. Everybody loves Kamala and everybody supporting her and blah, 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 while siphoning off money, again, to the rich elites and the celebrities that were supporting the campaign, right? But they were actually getting paid. They weren't actually giving money to Kamala Harris. No, no, no. That money was coming from the people and some of the rich, naive donors, right? But you know what they say? A liberal and his money shall soon depart, right? Or a fool and his money shall soon depart. I mean, at this point, there's no difference between a fool and a liberal, right? No difference whatsoever, because you have to be a damn fool to donate to Kamala Harris. This is incredible. It really is. I can't, paying Al Sharpton? Really? Really? You paid Al Sharpton for an interview? Al Sharpton? Really? And he didn't help her get any black votes at all. Didn't help her at all. In fact, he might have lost her some votes, to be honest with you. So it's going to be fascinating to see more of the revelations that come out in regards to who Kamala paid, who got rich off of these campaign funds. And I really do hope that liberals see this, Democrat voters see this stuff, and they realize how much of a scam her campaign was. And honestly, they should think twice before donating to Democrats ever again. I don't think I will ever donate to a party that decided to blow money this badly, this recklessly, and ended up losing in a landslide. This is insane. And now she's out here begging for money to pay off the campaign debt that she incurred from paying off people like Oprah and Al Sharpton, right? Again, it's insane. It really is. Nobody should be giving her campaign a dime, okay? Her campaign should not be getting a dime, considering the nonsense that they pay money for a completely fake and artificial scripted campaign that never had any momentum from the beginning. So, hey, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.